you doing? My name's Dave, and if you can't keep your videos short because you talk too much, you can call me Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. How you doing? Hey, today we're looking at Photon MIDI Recorder. Alright, so I talked to Tony Saunders, who is the developer of this app, and he agreed to let me do a quick tutorial for this. So I'm going to talk about some basic functionality in this app here, and some real simple ways to get it to work. I'm going to kind of do a high-level overview here. This app is real complicated, and there's a lot of things in here that I honestly don't fully understand. So I'm going to tell you the things that I do understand, and hopefully make it a little easier for you to get your head around. Photon is great. Photon is a quick MIDI recorder. So the idea behind the app is that, hey, you're performing something and you want to get a quick idea down. You throw this in there, it records the MIDI, you export it out to another app, and then you can edit it there. This does more. Photon can do more, but I'm going to choose to keep this scope of this limited because, to be fair, I don't fully understand the depth of what it can do. That's up to you. I'm just going to get you started. So let me show you what I've got set up here. I have a Ravenscroft piano here, okay? You can see that I have my iRig Keys 37 Pro right there, and the top-down camera, the thing, the stuff, and the other thing. And so, yeah, it's just a piano sound. It's super dry. I'm not worried about sonic quality here. We're talking about functionality. So if I go to the MIDI routing page of my beloved 8 Matrix, you can see that my MIDI input is controlling both Ravenscroft piano and Photon. So what's happening here is Photon is taking the MIDI signal from the keyboard and recording it, and Ravenscroft is taking the MIDI signal from the keyboard and making sound. Then I also have, you'll see I have Photon mapped to Ravenscroft piano so that I can play back what I just recorded and it'll still trigger Ravenscroft. So, real straightforward. So, there's a lot going on this main screen. Let's kind of talk about the concept of what's happening here. The way Photon works is that when you record, it doesn't save immediately to a file. It just basically records into internal memory, which is what this buffer is here that you see in the center that all the arrows are sort of pointing towards. The buffer is the memory. It's where the information is stored when you first record something. So let's do that. I'm going to hit record. It says wait on key right beneath the record button. That means as soon as I start flapping my fingers on the keys, it's going to start recording. Don't worry about the performance here, please. We're just going for functionality, as I said before. Here we go. So I'm just going to do some chords. And you can see, boom, turn off recording. All the MIDI notes populated there, right in the green section. And this, you know, it's displaying what I just recorded. And if I tap on it, it's going to show me some of the other buffers. Now let's get there. So here it says hide. I'm going to click hide so we can go back to see the main interface. There are 4 pads here, and you can assign what you've just recorded to any one of the 4 pads. So let's do that. I'm going to pick pad 1 and I'm going to hit assign. Boom. Now you see that pad 1 is turned red. If I go over here and I hit show, this is what we were just looking at, okay? This is what is in the buffer. If I tap on this display, it shows me some of the other buffers that we have. We have a groove buffer, we have pad 1's buffer, pad 2, pad 3, pad 4, and then back to the main memory. So the way I like to think of it is the buffer is sort of what you're actively dealing with, where the pads are sort of in reserve. If I hide this again, I can play the pad back. Okay. I can also save this. So it's in the buffer. If I hit save, I can go to, I'm going to call this pianer. Okay. So I got my file pianer. Now I can share this. Boom. I can go like this and I can say, oh, I'd really like to open this up in, share. Cubasis. It's called pianer. So now look, I open up Cubasis. load whatever the heck was previously loaded. So I'm just gonna, for the sake of this, we're gonna add a track, MIDI, go back to the top here, look for piano. Boom, there's what I just played. Now it's in Cubases. And now that it's in Cubases, I can edit it however I see fit, quantize it, do whatever I need to do with it. Okay, that's the main function of Photon. Here's a couple of other cool things it can do. Now I'm not going to edit the MIDI file. This is just a throwaway, so we're just going to delete that track. We're going to delete that, and we're going to get out of here. Okay, so let's go back here. So what's cool about the pads is that you can actually have the pads send out MIDI on different channels. So pad 1 can send on one MIDI channel, pad 2 can send on a different MIDI channel, pad 3, pad 4. Okay. There is limited editing ability for the MIDI file here. But I'm not going to go too deep into that because I got to be honest, if I'm going to edit this, I'm really going to export it somewhere else. This I'm only really going to use to capture it. That's just me personally. I know Tony is still developing this. Oops, sorry for kicking the cameras and everything. Tony is still developing this, and they're working on the GUI here. Because, you know, this is kind of confusing, and it's kind of intimidating, and it took me a little while to get my head around how to work everything, which is why I'm walking you through this. Okay, so that's the pads here. Now, let's talk about one last thing. Let's talk about the groove buffer. I'm going to clear the main buffer that I have. Let's show it here. Show, and here's the buffer. I'm going to clear this. Clear. Okay, so if I tap on it again, you'll see I still have that file saved in pad 1, or that, you know, MIDI thing. I also still have piano MIDI, so I've saved it. I haven't lost it. Let's record something else that's like a bass line, just with a different rhythm. Whatever. So, I'm going to save this now. Let's hide. We're going to save, and we're going to call this piano bass. Okay, so now I have piano bass. So now I'm going to load piano bass as a groove. Yes, and I go to the groove buffer. Now, watch this. I'm going to apply the groove of piano bass to the MIDI file piano. I can't honestly tell you what the groove function does, how it works. So I'm going to just show you what it does. I'm sure Tony could explain it better from a technical standpoint, what he's achieving here. Here's my perspective. You get really interesting results taking two different MIDI files and mashing them together. So I'm going to leave it to you guys to explain to me exactly how this functions or what's going on here when you apply one groove to another. I don't fully understand it, but I'm going to show you at least how to do it, because I don't know how to build the car. I just know how to drive it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to hide this. We're going to go back. We're going to take pad 1 and we're going to assign pad 1 to the buffer, because let's see what's in our buffer. Right now, the buffer has piano bass, what we played, and so does the groove. So we need to get piano, the MIDI file, back. So I can either load from the MIDI file I saved, or I can just load it from a pad, which is what we're going to do. So I'm going to say pad. We're going to hit assign. We're going to copy pad 1 to buffer. Boom. Now when we show, we see buffer has the same as pad 1. Oops, I went by it. Buffer, pad 1. Okay. Now I'm going to go to here, groove, okay, on the side. If I take groove and I'm just going to, here, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make some random changes here. 8/5 duration 30 to 29 strength full. Apply to timing and velocity. Let's see what happens. Ready? Apply groove. Bang. Now you see what's in the buffer. Pad 1 and the buffer don't look the same anymore because now it's moved some of the notes from the original piano file. Okay, so let's play it and see what happens. Okay, let's do this. So we hide, and we're at the groove, and now that's in the buffer. So I'm going to assign what's in the buffer to pad 2. So I select pad 2 and I hit assign, and it goes there. Okay, now let's play back piano. Okay, let's hear how it's been changed now. All right, so that's what happens. It sounds to me like it's trying to take the rhythm from the second file and apply it to the notes of the first file. That's my guess. Either way, it's really cool. I gotta say, it's really cool. The potential here is really cool. This is a lame example, but the potential here is really, really interesting. Okay, so that's the main functionality. That's really all I wanted to cover here today. I just want to talk about some of the rest of what's going on the screen here. So over on the side, you have real-time record, and you can adjust some of the parameters for that. The step time recorder, you can actually input notes in one at a time. Pad controls, if you want to, you know, like say pad 2. Let's play this. I'll turn the velocity down. I'm gonna speed up. Now it's twice as fast. Now it's going to play it 4 times through. Now it's going to start on the second beat. I don't know what duration does. Huh, there you go. So you've got some controls here to adjust. I can transpose this. So let's take this down. That's 16 loops here. Oh, it's starting on group. Okay. So that's Photon in a nutshell. There's a lot of potential in how to apply this, but there's also a million different ways to apply this. So that's the kind of shtick here with the MIDI plugins, is that there's so many different applications for them. It's tough for me to recommend a way to use this rather than just show you how it works. So there you go. Thanks, Tony Saunders. You rock. Go, everybody, go out and get Quantum. Quantum is his sequencer. It's a step sequencer. It's an old school step sequencer. It's interapp audio only, but it's meaning that it's not an AU. That's what I meant to say. It's not an AU V3. It's a standalone. That's a better word for it. It's a standalone app only, but it is the most incredible sequencer. It is so deep, and if you are into old school step sequencing, it's the Cadillac of old school step sequencers, certainly for the iPad. So thanks, Tony, for Photon. I hope this video helps you guys out. I have a brand new Patreon page for those of you that want to support what I do and let me make more videos and do bigger and cooler stuff, like add extra camera angles and do more interactive things. So please go check out my Patreon page. The link is below. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please tell all your friends. Please hang signs outside your house. Please put up a billboard in your town. Please make sure you cover your car in one of those sticky things that says Daveypoo is awesome. Any other things, signage on the back of your car, Daveypoo on board. Maybe t-shirts. Tattoos. You want to get a face tattoo, Daveypoo, right there. Go for it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Check out the Patreon page. Subscribe to the channel. Later.